Talk 1330, FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. My name's Colin Worthington. We're also on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, where you can see my guests this morning, the dynamic crime-fighting duo of Williams and Mecillas. Heather Mecillas, Stacy Williams, Lieutenant Heather Mecillas, and Sheriff Stacy Williams come to just talk to us about goings-on in Haralson County. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, if you've listened to our local news today, and this was just dumb timing, I had no idea that it was going to be a presentation last night at the Haralson County Sheriff's Office. But you were part of a group of deputies that did receive some acknowledgement from the Haralson County Board of Commissioners, and I do remember this story. I remember it going on, and I remember the effort that you put into it. I mean,
Yes,
that things you were finding out. But yeah, take us back there. I mean, let me set it up. There was this had been going on for like a month. I went back and read the stories in Missouri and Kansas. There was a report that the young lady had, I guess, kidnapped her own daughter, but she wasn't supposed to have custody of the child. The father had won it. That had gone on for a month. They were looking, and then lo and behold, somehow she ends up in Haralson County. And I know at the time we didn't know how or why she picked Haralson County. Maybe that's changed. But you guys were able to find her and get her back to her old man. And I guess another funny part from that, when they picked her up, they were just like, yeah, we don't need them all. Never mind, you guys. So did
They were more concerned about the baby.
Right.
They were really concerned about the baby's safety.
You put the nice spin on it, Heather. But yeah, I was like, they really did just like, we don't need her. We've been looking for her for 2 months here. Whatever.
I'm gonna say this. I got a phone call on it, and we get phone calls, and how Heather got involved. It's just like, okay, this has been going on for like a month. This is a sheriff's office thing about. Something about the paperwork or something like that. And I said, okay. I said, yeah, let me, we'll check into it. So I got up out of my office. I walked into her office, and I said, Heather, can you check on this? She's been an investigator for 18 years, and she's done a fabulous job and all that. Anybody can knock it out, she can. So it took her about 15 minutes, and buddy, she started moving mountains. She discovered stuff that, that a lot of times we don't have purview to what the internal documents from the courts, and the total
especially
picture.
for another state.
And within about 15 minutes, she had the totality of the whole thing, and it was like she started making phone calls, and before we knew it, she done had everything solved. And
I know she's very detailed anyway, but I think probably because a kid was involved, that got you fired up even more.
Yes, I worked crimes against children for almost 9 years, so that's I love that. That's where my heart is. So when I heard that it was a child involved and that the mom had mental health issues, you've also got to be careful with those. So I got the paperwork, and the paperwork that gave the father custody, there was also a second order written by a judge that he said to get that child by any means necessary. Mm-hmm. He said peaceful if possible, but any means necessary. Judges don't like to write that unless they feel that the child is in some kind of significant danger. So the fact that this child showed up in Tallapoosa, there's all these pages on social media that share missing pages. Well, somebody saw that child in Tallapoosa and was like, wait, I've seen that baby, because the baby's very distinctive. She's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Pulled up the flyer and was like, oh my goodness. So they contacted the detective in Missouri. She's the one that started calling us. They called Tallapoosa, and they're like, well, that's a custody thing. You'll have to go to the sheriff's office. And that's when they contacted the sheriff, and he was like, hold on. So got me involved. I was able to get both court orders from Kansas sent to me. Contacted where the baby was at, or the area the baby was at. I sent investigator Nicole Wilson. I sent Deputy Seth Intricate out there. When they got to where we knew the baby wasn't there anymore, but they started working leads, and we figured out where the baby was. So that's when Sergeant Ricky Parks, Corporal John Henderson, members of the Tallapoosa Police Department, they all went out to this safe house, because we have several safe houses in the county. Mm-hmm. They went out to the safe house. They were talking to them, and that, of course, they're going to protect the women and children because they think they're doing a really great thing. They just need to be more selective in what they don't question the people, because had they questioned her and she'd been honest, that she'd have told them she didn't have custody of the child. Mm-hmm. She'd have told them the father had custody and that she was running with a baby, but they didn't ask the right questions, or she didn't give the right answers. So once they realized that they were court orders and that Jason Smith had written an order where we were to pick up the child in Haralson County, they gave us access to the house, and Nicole went in and got the baby, brought her to the sheriff's office. Oddly enough, she wasn't very attached to the mom. Aww. She didn't really cry. She came to the sheriff's office. She started playing with the different investigators. Of course, we're all playing with her and having a great time, and she's talking to us. And then Chief Deputy Scott Chandler and his wife actually took her home for the night because Dad was trying to get a flight and couldn't get one for that night. So the commissioner over defects that the sheriff knows wrote a special order giving Chief Chandler and his wife the ability to take her home for the night. Kept her out of defects custody. Dad was so happy with that. So the next morning, Dad got a flight in, and he was so thrilled. And just watching that little girl curl up on her dad and just him hold her just made everything worth it. Everything worth it.
Well, do we know why she ended up in Tallapoosa, how she got here, and why?
So she was going through different safe houses. I think House of Cherith or something. She went to Atlanta. Okay. That's where she went to, and they had different safe houses everywhere else, and so they randomly sent her out to one, and that's where she ended up, was Haralson.
Okay, and do you know what happened to her afterward? I mean, don't know if she got the help she needed.
So we were told that she's still in safe houses somewhere. That's what we've been told. She's still trying to get help. But I believe he's already gone through the rest of the process up there to get full custody, because he was a protective order, temporary custody, and I believe it's now full custody. The dad has full custody now. Does it frustrate you to do something like that and you have to follow all the rules of the law? I mean, because you have to go through all these processes. You want to go save this. You do. It kind of hurts your heart a little bit because you're really, really worried. The only thing that gave us any kind of peace when we're going through that process, because we realized once she was in a safe house area, that there are a lot of people that work in those safe houses that are taking proactive measures. And that's the crazy part. When they took her from the mother didn't cry. She was completely unreactive. She's like, eh. The workers were crying because they had formed a bond with her because they were doing the primary care. So once we knew that she was in a safe house, we knew that there were other caretakers. And so it was able to let us breathe a little bit. But yes, very frustrating because I wanted to get the baby at 11 and we didn't get the baby till about 3:30. I was ready to go snatch the baby at 11. So
and what you have to understand is when you have issues like this, Colin, when you said it, the word we use is complex. We deal with so many complex issues like what you was referring to and what she did. Well, that's what we do. I mean, you got to follow the letter of the law. You want to make sure this kid gets back to where it needs to be, or safe house. We don't want to be the ones to mess it up, to circumvent, and we done something wrong, and this kid has to stay here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We have to ensure.
Or you have to end up having to let her go somehow. I mean,
right. So at the end of the day, that's the reason why I tell people we swore to uphold the law, and we're here. We're going to do the right thing. We have to be right 100% of the time, not 99.9, 100% of the time, and that's the way we operate. And when you get on that plateau and you operate, you get a little drug out. Like, oh boy, this is a complicated. And I know she knows it because the investigation she's done, the redundancy, everything she's had done, the phone calls, the reports written and everything else. Yes, it ain't just go out, hey, here's a kid, get it back and take it back. No, there's 10,000 processes behind the scene that a lot of people don't understand that we have to go through. But we have to be right at the end of the day. And that's what it is. We're here to serve the people, and if we don't do that, then we're shortchanging the people, and we're not doing our job, what we're sworn to do.
Haralson County Sheriff Stacy Williams and Lieutenant Heather Mecillas are guests on this morning's Community Voice program. Time right now is 8:39. We are on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. So if you'd like to share a question or a comment, please do that, and I'll look at those during the break. If not, I've got a couple of things I can bring up, and I know I can ask a question, and Stacy can accommodate the next 18 minutes. So we'll take our break. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health and Oak Mountain Academy.
Oak Mountain Academy is a vibrant community built on innovation, academic excellence, and a 64-year legacy of shaping community leaders. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school at Oak Mountain Academy, inviting you to visit the mountain and experience firsthand the passion, purpose, and personalized education that defines our school. Come see how our mission and vision come to life each day. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us so that you can discover your journey on the mountain, where every path leads to purpose.
Consider the Mobius strip. Take a strip of paper, twist it, connect the ends. This connection forms a continuous loop. Seamless, infinite. That's how your healthcare should be too. At Tanner Health, the Mobius is our symbol and our promise, representing our continuum of care and our commitment that the services you need will be here for you always. We're not just changing healthcare, we're redefining it. See more at tanner.org.
840, welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. My name is Colin Worthington. Our guests this morning from the Haralson County Sheriff's Office, we have the Haralson County Sheriff, Stacy Williams, and Lieutenant Heather Mecillas. If you missed any of this program so far, go back and listen to our podcast at 9:02. It should be up there this morning. Very interesting story in that first segment, so if you missed it, go back and check that out. I had at least two things that I want to talk about. We'll see if we got time for both of them. I want to talk about fireworks safety here a bit later on. But last night, the Haralson County Board of Commissioners had an opportunity to approve a budget for fiscal year 25-26. I mean, July 1st is typically the day that starts it off. They ended up postponing that. And I'm not even really sure why. It sounds like they want to try and get some more stuff out of it and lower it. That seems to be what it is. So they're going to wait 2 weeks. How does that affect you, someone who's got to present a budget?
We done presented our budget. They have all of our figures, that we've done. We started this budget process back in February and March. It's been an ongoing continuation since then. We've had budget hearings, budget meetings, over the last. So, I mean, they're doing their job. They're a board of commissioners. I think what's got everything really up in the air is that with all this tax assessors business, and all that. That's just like my tax. It went up $1,507. And I'm sitting there like, whoa.
Your taxes themselves, or the if you would use the same millage rate, right, without your homestead exemption.
If the paper they sent out, based on that, it went up $1,507. 140. My property value went up $144,000. I mean, okay. Look, I'm gonna pay my taxes. If that's what I got to pay, hey, I'm a red-blooded American. I got to pay my till. I'm gonna pay my taxes. Do I like it? No. But you got to understand, why do you pay taxes? It's because of the services you get, behind the scenes, what it costs to have these services. Your fire, your law enforcement, your 911, your court system, the clerk of court, the all the judges, the tag office. I mean, it all costs money. And the biggest factor of that right there is your salaries, and every budget is your salaries. That's your biggest
Well, if it's
issue.
$24 million budget right now, I mean, public safety is about half of that, right? I mean, that includes fire and everything else.
Our budget this year is going to be about $6.9 million, and it constantly goes up. In the last 2 years, the county has given raises to all the employees. My budget just over last year, or the last 2 years, is like when I done my budget this year, I had to start $400,000 to the right, because over the last 2 years it went up roughly about $200,000. About $200,000, $170 something to $190,000 on each year. It just employee raises. So if you look at $400,000 when I started this budget this year, that's almost a $400,000. Then you got benefits and stuff like that the county, imposes or gives to the employees and things like that, and then that has to be put on top of it, and that's about 1.2 million for the sheriff's office.
So the county, so everybody in the county, even in the sheriff's department, has the same insurance.
They do. And one of the biggest problems with that is we got about 300 something people in that insurance group. And as you know, for an insurance company to come in and do a group, they get your name, social security number, they run all these reports, they check your medical history and all this. So our insurance, if you get one of the problems we have in our county is because the insurance is so high. It's like I think it went up to $1,600 now, starting yesterday, for family coverage insurance. Well, when I pay my employees $15, $16, $17 an hour, they're working for insurance. $1,600 a month. That's coming out of their paycheck. That's $800 every 2 weeks. Okay, I mean, that don't leave much money to pay the power bill, to buy groceries, to buy gas, to buy the kids clothes and stuff like that. You can go to Paulding County, it's $300 a month. You can go to the city of Bremen, like a Georgia Municipal Association agency, and it's about $150 a month.
Why is that? I mean, why?
Different rates, different. I can't explain it. It's just you have different insurance. Ours is through United Healthcare.
Well, why can't you guys go to that one? Is it? I mean, do they? I guess if they're including everybody in Paulding County employment, I mean, do they do that, or do they make it separate?
I don't know the exact, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. It's just a lot of times, Haralson County used to supplement years ago till they cut it out. Back in the teens, 16, 17, in that area, I'd follow it. They used to supplement the employees' insurance when it come to that as a benefit, as a county benefit. And I think a lot of these other agencies, they supplement it as an employee benefit. So I might be wrong about that, but, it's just, that's the reason why we've lost 3 employees here We got one leaving in the fall. We just lost 2 here recently. I think I've got another one going, and it's so hard for what we pay. We're the lowest paid agency in the county, but we're the county, and I mean, we're the primary responder to all the cities and stuff like that. We're the primo agency, but we're a large agency, and it costs a lot of money to operate with a consumer price index and the way the economy is. It's just, and I tell people, if you ever got a question about the sheriff's office budget, please, by all means, come to my office and I'll sit down and show you everything you want to know. I'll show you the price increases. It's just like gas goes up. Gas almost $3 a gallon. Groceries, okay. Our insurance, our vehicle, home, everything continuously goes up, and we're no different. We're on the market too. So
you're not. It's not like you're not feeding your deputies, but you're in charge of the jail, right?
Yes.
So you have to feed them, and with those prices going up,
yes.
And then boys love eggs.
Medical this year on this budget is $400,000-something. Food
for the jail.
is $300,000-something budget. Yeah, power for the facility. All these are, we've had price increases, and you have to meet it. I mean, we are not a discretionary agency. I mean, well, let's pay for that. Oh, we ain't gonna do that. No, we're mandated by law, state, federal law, case law. We have all these things. There's a Constitution of the United States. When you house somebody, you're in charge of them, lock, stock, and barrel. You got to feed them, clothe them, medical. If they ain't got insurance, we bill their insurance. But most of the people come in, especially when they get locked up, at some point they're not paying their insurance. The insurance cancels and they have a medical emergency. And, and we're a county depository. We run the county jail for all these other agencies, all the cities, the state, and all that. And they bring their prisoners to us. And we have to accept them. If they need medical, we have to, before we accept them, they'll have to take them to the hospital and get them medically cleared and stuff like that. And then when they come back and let's say a week into it, they have a heart attack, the court system won't, depending on their crime, won't get them out. The residents of Haralson County is responsible for that bill, but it's charged at Medicare rates and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's very dicey. And we save the county a lot of money. We save taxpayers a lot of money every year. But it's the cost of doing business. It's the cost of operations. Most of our budget is operational based when it comes to, figuring up, okay, what is a budget and stuff like that. So I just tell people, I don't like it no more you do. I've lived there 57 years in that county. I pay taxes every year. I'm a taxpayer in Haralson County. So if it affects you, it affects me. And I don't like it no more than anybody else. But, we have a job to do. We're mandated by law. I sat in the chair. I swore to uphold the law, and it's my butt on the line. It ain't nobody else's. It's me. And when I sit in that chair, I've got to make the right decisions. I've got to make the right calls. So,
all right. Time right now is 8:48. Our guests are from the Haralson County Sheriff's Office. Now I'm gonna share this with you, and I'm trying to get attention. This is an attention-getting statement. How many deceased bodies are laying around in the woods out here in West Georgia? We got one in Alabama that was found last week up along I-20. We had 2 in Buchanan that have been found within the last year. Lithia Springs, they found one. Are they just laying around all over the place and we're just going to stumble across them? I mean, what is that all about? I mean, and majority of the time we think that it's going to be natural causes, and it could be, is it the homeless population is increasing so much?
Yes, it is increasing. In Haralson County, it is increasing. We don't have actually that many open cases of missing persons. We keep up with that. We only have a few that are actually open right now that we have that are missing persons that we're aware of. But again, when you get to the homeless, they don't report one of them goes missing. It's just they think they've moved on, or even if they know they died, they just go on about their day because there's nothing about somebody else is gone.
It's just shocking to see those stories.
It is.
And again, 2 in the last week.
I agree. It is shocking because you would think normal people, if somebody died or somebody went missing, we would report it because we'd be concerned. Homeless is different. They just assume somebody's moved on. They've gone to the next camp. Because it's very transient in nature. They change friends, relationships constantly because they're constantly moving around from camp to camp. So it's sad that people go missing and they're never reported and never noticed. It's very sad.
So they could be from anywhere. I mean,
and we do. We have people. I don't know how people find, like the woman from Kansas. We talk about how does people find little old Haralson County? And you're right. I mean, I rode down the road and I wonder if there's a dead body. You ride down the interstate. Is there somebody out there that nobody's found? Yes. Can it happen? Yes, it does. It happen. Yes, it does. But That's when the investigation goes on. I don't know if they've released the identity of that in Cleveland County.
No,
Then arrested. I mean, could it be one of ours? We don't know, or you don't know. Is it a transit? Was it a hitchhiker? Did they have medical problems, or you just don't know. So, a very good question.
Well, I hope I wasn't too crude about it, but I thought that would, just get to the point.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're going to take our final break here. Time right now is 8:51. Community Voices brought to you by Tanner Health and Oak Mountain Academy.
Do the math. At Oak Mountain Academy, our average graduating class has just 12 students. We celebrate a 100% graduation rate with more than $10.5 million in college scholarships offered. Plus, 96% of our students are accepted into their top choice college. Do the math. Can you see the value of an OMA education? I'm Patrick Uran, head of school at Oak Mountain Academy, and I'm here to help you do the math. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us so that you can discover your journey on the mountain, where every path leads to purpose.
Consider the Mobius strip. Take a strip of paper, twist it, connect the ends. This connection forms a continuous loop. Seamless, infinite. That's how your healthcare should be too. At Tanner Health, the Mobius is our symbol and our promise, representing our continuum of care and our commitment that the services you need will be here for you always. We're not just changing healthcare, we're redefining it. See more at tanner.org.
All right, 8:52. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice Program. My name is Colin Worthington. We are with the Haralson County Sheriff's Office. We've got Williams and Mecillas, the dynamic crime-fighting duo. Don Lively checked in, says, good job, Sheriff and Lou. And that's hit for Lieutenant. I did that myself. He did put LT, but Lou. I watched NYPD Blue for a long time. and that's where I got that. All right.
Got a new nickname.
Michelle Merritt. She has a question. What's your plan to deal with worsening violent crime, considering the murder that happened recently, and that one happened in Bremen?
Mm-hmm. It did.
She said, not afterwards trying to catch perpetrators. Don't know if that's accurate, but beforehand at places that seem to have criminal behaviors happening just a mile from the police station. So I guess the question is, well, first of all, do you see worsening? I mean, that the violent crime is worsening. I mean, obviously this, I don't know the last time Haralson County had a murder. It seems like it may have been a couple years at least.
We're thinking 21. We had a rash of them in 21, but we solved every one of them. We've got guilty pleas, murder convictions on all of them. Mm-hmm. But to answer the question about that right there, what are we going to do about violent crime? We're constantly out here working every day. The crime rate in Haralson County, statistical, this ain't just the sheriff saying this, it's the lowest it's ever been in Haralson County. Everybody can, with the advent of computers and the internet, you can go online, you can study the FBI, UCR's reports, that's where we get our data from and stuff. Right now, it's lowest it's ever been in Haralson County. We're very proud of that. We built a bond with the people in Haralson County. If something going on, people let us know. And like my dad used to say, if they smoke over there, they got to be fire. That means get over there and investigate it. We take complaints anonymously. We don't have to have a name and address, the person reporting. You just tell us what you think you want us to know, and let us go investigate it. So we're very proud of that. The officers, the deputies of the sheriff's office, the employees there. It took us a long time. We believe in police-led policing, the model and stuff like that. We've instituted that. We built that from day one. Intelligence-led policing is what I was trying to say, and it's paid dividends, and that's how you do it. Everything we do is for, I guess, over 100 years, modern policing. It's not our job to reinvent the wheel, and we're only dependent on the bad people we have in our society. Sometimes a certain area had more bad people than other areas of the county, But if you'll look, starting in 21, we got across the county in these districts. We identified the bad people, and we one by one systematically we tracked them down. We brought them to justice. We built cases on them, and we sent them to prison where they need to be. And that's that. And if you look at the fall of the crime rate in Haralson County, that's the reason why it's so low right now. We took all of our bad players, and constantly we're getting new ones every day, like the murder in Bremen, which that's in the jurisdiction of Bremen, which is in Haralson County. But you got to go back and look at the particulars on that right there. Things are going to happen, but it ain't like what it used to be. So I think we're doing a great job. It's a good question on that, but we're fighting hard every day to keep violent crime down. But we cannot control people's impulses, if you know what I mean. It's like domestics. Domestics usually run about the same. We can't control that. All we can do is come along and investigate it and see what crime's been committed and make the appropriate decisions on that. So, but I would just say that we're doing a good job. We're going to continue to do our best, and we're going to rock on.
Is there an emphasis put on maybe patrolling, investigating those extended stay places? Because the murder happened at an extended stay. Over the last 5, 6, 7 years, I can think of some pretty violent crimes that have happened at the extended stay. Not that they didn't happen in somebody else's home or things like that, but it definitely jumps out if it's someplace that's not a home. I mean, in Carroll County, in Carrollton, in Haralson County as well. I mean, is there an emphasis put on patrolling those and keeping an eye on those more?
Well, I think the cities
Cities, yeah, they're all inside the cities.
Yeah, we don't have that in the county. I mean, we don't have that. That's it. But we're the primary backup to, like the city of Bremen when they had that murder. As soon as I got the text, I responded down there. We offered assistance. Our crime scene worked the crime scene. We dedicated investigators to the city of Bremen to help them, assist them. That's what we do. We're like a big brother. We all work together. Chief Haznell and them's done a terrific job on this right here. They worked it. They solved it. They got the necessary information. They secured warrants. They know what happened. So now it's just, getting them in the judicial system and letting it play out.
All right, guys, we got 2 minutes. Stacy, we have 2 minutes. Tell us stuff to be careful about over the holiday week, maybe with fireworks.
Well, the first thing is just remember in the state of Georgia that, we pass laws. You can shoot fireworks in the state of Georgia up to 11:59 p.m. like it.
Can I call if it goes off at 12 o'clock? I don't have to work on Saturday, so I won't care this time.
Well, I believe you live in Carroll County, but you go right ahead. You call all you want to. Yeah, that's right. But I would recommend people just remember the basics. Just use common sense. Don't hold them in your hand. We've had injuries. People have lost fingers. People have died and things like that. Just use the common sense approach when dealing with fireworks, and just because your neighbor is shooting it at 10 o'clock at night, don't call 911 and say.
So you do see an increase in 911 calls during this time too. So, when is it okay to call 911? I mean, I guess you're probably just a little more strict during these holidays when you get all those phone calls condensed. But over this weekend, what should we consider? If I feel like I want to call 911 for some reason for a barking dog or something.
If it's an emergency. A barking dog really isn't an emergency unless it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and it's barking frantically like something may be wrong. Right. Then you might want to call 911. But just be wise with resources because most of the 911 centers are strapped. They're shorthanded right now. They're having to answer all these extra calls coming in because my neighbor's shooting fireworks. Now, if your neighbor's shooting a gun, that might be different. But just use, like you said, use common sense.
Well, God bless America. And God bless you guys. Thanks for coming out and talking about all things Haralson County. Congratulations on the recognition. You definitely deserve it. You're a butt buster. And Stacy, always good to see you. Thank you for following the biscuit mandate as well, taking care of everybody here.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, time right now is 8:59. On tomorrow's program, I think we're going to try to dig up an old show where an old history teacher at Carrollton High School talks about the birth of the nation or something. I don't remember what the topic was, but we've got it, and it has something to do with the 4th of July. So we're going to try and dust that out and bring that out tomorrow for the Community Voice. Again, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Community Voice, as always, brought to you by Tanner Health and Oak Mountain Academy.